Okay, my name is Sheryl McLean, and the name of my firm is McLean and Tircuit Designs, or McLean and Tircuit LLC, and I am the principal and creative director for McLean and Tircuit. Okay, so the work. All right, come on with me. All right, don't talk about my office.
No.
But other pieces, look, this is a working office. So in here,
it's very neat, actually.
You think this is neat?
Yes,
I got boxes. Let them come in
it's
here.
neat. I've been in other offices. This is very neat.
You can see that I was doing some video stuff. So this is really, I don't work in here too much. I really work in the back. This is one of the manufacturers that I use, and this is all their fabric samples. They make all my upholstery, custom upholstery pieces. Custom metal pieces when I want something made in metal.
You are the first Black woman to receive a master's in architecture from UCLA. How do you feel that has impacted, other architecture majors or interior designers of color or Black women? And how did it make you feel?
Well, initially it made me angry because I thought that it shouldn't have been. I should not have been the first in Los Angeles, supposedly liberal state.
Yeah.
This is in the late 80s. There should have been many more before me. And it put a lot of stress and responsibility on me. So much so that it was interesting because being the first, you understand the spotlight is on you, and you want to share, and you want to, you want to bring everybody up with you, but you got to survive it at the same time. And for the same reasons I was the first, is the same reasons they made it very difficult for me. I will not lie about that.
Wow.
There was one other architect who's probably the most famous female architect that worked with UCLA at the time. A lot of big architects were, it was a free ride for a lot of them, and being attached to UCLA because they paid their rent in Los Angeles. So, I mean, even Gary, who's one of the most famous architects now, he used to do a lot of he was a judge on a lot of my panel, a lot of my projects. He was judging my projects. And then you had Norma Scalaric, and she's probably the most famous Black architect. She was the first woman to ever get her license in the United States. And she sat in a lot of our classes. I even interned under her. She was very hard. I was very happy, but she was very difficult. She was hard on me. And I understood why, because she had the same thing. She had that responsibility, and she wanted it to work for me. But once I got over my emotional feelings, I try to do what I can. I try to share that story because there's still a part of me that's still a little irked about being the first one. It just shouldn't have been, But I don't know. I think it's funny. I think if you ask somebody how did it affect them, you'd probably get a better answer than me, because I'm only focused on making sure that I give solid advice to them. And I'm from a different generation than a lot of these new architects and designers. And there's a lot that I could give to them, and I try.
Yeah.
And if they listen, because that's the key, if they listen, they'll benefit from it for sure. But I'm glad that I went through what I went through. It made me the kind of person I am today.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of resentment early on, a lot. I was mad at them for a long time. But I did it, and yes, I was the first, so it was all good.
So let's, at what point did you decide, okay, cool, I've studied, I've been around the world, it's time for the world to see to see, you know, to give the world your art?
Well, I had been doing, I came, when I moved here in the metro area, I worked for a black firm, and it was an architecture firm. I was still in architecture. And architecture, I didn't do residential, everything was commercial. And I still had that yearning from childhood of doing interiors, because I liked doing that stuff, you know. So that was always in the back of my mind. I picked up little projects on the side, but I was working like 3 jobs. I had my little projects. I'm working for the architecture firm, and I'm still flying on the weekends. So I did that.
You're doing a lot.
Yes, I did that for a couple of years, and I didn't know anybody in this area. I knew one person. So I didn't have a life, kind of, because I was working all the time. But when I was flying, you know, 9/11 happened. And by that time, I had 20-something years behind me in the airlines, and I said, okay, this is it. I'm done. So I planned my exit, which was I can either work for another firm or work for myself. Well, I was older and had, you know, enough life experience to know what that decision actually means. And I decided to work for myself. So in 2003 is when I started McLean and Tircuit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how's the business journey for you been so far?
It's been good. It's been interesting because when I came into it, I went strictly with residential. I sort of didn't do much architecture anymore. I didn't think about it, actually. You know, I just dived into it and just survived in making the business a business.
Yeah.
And then about 4 or 5 years later, I'm like, wait a minute, there's a whole nother side of you you're not taking care of. So business is good. I still do residential, but high-end residential. I like whole projects.
Yeah.
Large projects. I don't call me in for a room, but if you want me to, you know, gut your house out or, you know, major projects is what I do for residential. But I do multifamily, new builds and redesign of the whole building. I do corporates, you know, corporate offices I do, and commercial spaces. So business is good. When I'm out there and I'm searching, I mean, this is a cheese tray, so who would know? I mean, this thing weighs like thousands of pounds.
It looks heavy.
It's marble. But if you're going to have something, you know, and you're going to do a cheese tray or, you know, I mean, this is what you want to do it on.
What side of the business do you prefer, the corporate side or the high-end residential side?
That's a hard one because they both, you know, in the high-end residential, it pulls on the heartstrings, you know. You really get to do a lot of things that are much more personal to who you're working with, and there's some really great things that you could do. Okay, so yeah, I'm a wallpaper fanatic. So I use wallpaper almost in every project that I do. Because you can't, paint can't do it all the time. So yeah, so this is just, it's actually a Japanese inspired paper because those are cranes, and whenever you see cranes, it's all about that, that's into their culture. On the corporate side, if I'm helping also design, because I don't just do corporate, they have to be branded spaces. Okay. So, you know, I'm not just going to come in and just throw some chairs down and some desks. We're talking about a whole brand thing that I have to be able to do so that it is truly a designed out space. Okay. So I love them both. I don't want to say that there's one to the other. You know, I think I like both, which is why I do both. Yeah. You know, this is Damsel. And look, I have to, because they're all spread around. So I have Renegade, Trapper, Preacher, and Chief is, you asked me my favorite scent in my candles, is Chief. Okay. And they're all wrapped up in the box, so I wasn't able to get them. I love it. But another unique, I'm going to show you this unique piece because I don't get to show it often. I love this desk. It is feminine, I'm not going to deny, but it's also a dressing table, so you can have it where you can pull it up and you can, you know, isn't that cool?
That's amazing, actually.
So I'm like,
It has a mirror. I see the mirror in the mirror.
yeah, you see the mirror in the mirror. Yeah, so, you know, once again, it's all about those unique pieces that you're just not going to find. This is made very. I don't do stuff I don't like doing anymore. I've passed that point maybe 5 or 6 years ago. It's like I finally got to a point where I understand that I have enough talent and enough know-how that I'm only going to do what I want to do.
That's a sense of freedom too, right?
Yes, it is. It's better than the day you graduate. You know, when you graduate, you feel like, I've done it. When you get to that point where you're only going to do what you want to do, then you're on another level altogether, which is good.